Have you noticed how bugger all ever gets fixed anymore? Roads aren't repaired, they're patched. Pavements, are they replaced? No, they're just filled in, just enough to last a few months.
Guys, the UK is fucked. Everything is massively over expensive.
Guys, what's actually going on with supermarkets? So here we have some reduced Kit Kat cereal is now £2.63 because the box is battered. But then, I wonder how much it is not damaged. Oh, £2.50. So £2.50 not damaged on club card, or £2.63 damaged and battered. That makes sense.
You know, everybody keeps saying we're going through tough times right now. Well, is there any chance I could get an end date to those tough times? Like,
I'm staying in a hotel in Derby tonight and it's a disgrace. I paid £3 for hotels over the other side of the world that were way nicer than this.
I wake up in my house where I pay my council tax, get into my car, road tax, drive to the petrol station, fuel tax, buy myself a snack, sugar tax, get to the office, corporation tax, dividend tax, income tax, national insurance, also have to charge my clients VAT, then eventually I die. Sad, I know. And then they want to take 40% inheritance tax. I'm trying to work out what is going to be next. They've got our milkshakes. What's next? Are we going to get taxed on our sleep? Let me know in the comments.
The cost of living in 1974. The average household income just topped £2,000. Ordinary workers earned £30 to £40 a week. Not much, but enough to feel secure. A small house cost around £10,000. Windows might leak, but it was truly your own home. Groceries were cheap and plentiful. A few coins could feed a family for a week. Sausages, 20 pence a pound. A bottle of fizzy drink, 10 pence. Sweets from the corner shop jars. Just a few coins could buy a whole day's happiness. Electricity and gas ran on meters. 50 pence would last a long time. A black and white TV cost about £60. Colour sets were still a luxury. Yet the house was always lively, warm and full of laughter. Clothes cost about £5, and you patched them up when they wore out. School shoes around £3, worn across playgrounds, through rain, through your childhood. In 1974, there was an energy crisis and a 3-day week, but also close-knit neighbours. Life felt slower, simpler, and more grounded. What's your favourite memory from 1974? Comment and tag the mate who always says things were better back then.
I have a question. Why is the personal allowance in the UK still stuck at £12,500? Still, in 2025, when the cost of living has gone through the roof, and we are still taxing people when they get past £12,500 per year. This is a part-time minimum wage salary. Not enough to live on by any stretch. Not enough for bills and rent, let alone enough to pay tax. This has remained frozen since 2021, the longest time that it's been frozen for in 50 years. That just puts into perspective how bad this is. And why have Labour and the Tories kept it frozen? Well, the answer is simple. It's the easiest way to tax people in real terms without them objecting. A stealth tax. No announcement, no approval, no backlash. Just leave it where it is and let inflation do the rest. Meanwhile, people are getting taxed more and more each year in real terms. Couple that with the fact that inflation has outpaced wage growth for the majority of the time since the millennium, and people are really feeling it. Raising the allowance would give people a pay rise in real terms without putting any additional pressure on businesses. But with the way things...
After 12 years in London, I'm telling you, girls like me simply can't survive here. Even though I've pushed myself to earn over 100k a year, it's still not enough. The fact is, if you want any sort of decent life in London, your family needs to hand you at least 800k to buy property minimum. I've worked in London's tech industry for 9 years. Even though I've been earning 6 figures for the past 3 years, I can only afford to buy a flat worth around around 500k with a mortgage. Look, I know 500k is a lot of money, but at that price, you're either in an area where you don't feel particularly safe, or you end up in some grotty, rundown neighborhood that's not exactly desirable. The second you buy, you become a mortgage slave. For the next 20 to 30 years, every fucking life decision you make revolves around that goddamn property. Once you got a massive mortgage hanging over you, you become what I called a London wage slave. Someone with a low quality of life, constantly terrified of losing their income. To actually have any breathing room in London, you need two things: a property with no mortgage, plus about 40k pounds a year for living expenses. Otherwise, even if you come from a comfortable middle class family back home, London will have you constantly stressed about money. And if your degree isn't in computer science or finance, you simply won't earn enough to live comfortably in London. So if you're coming to UK to study, you really need to think hard about whether your degree will actually pay. Because the moment you graduate, London's cost of living will absolutely crush you. Trust me, I've been there. I remembered when I first graduated, less than 40k pounds a year. I'd sit there, staring at my bank account, genuinely debating whether I could afford an £18 bowl of ramen. Never ever in my life did I think I'd have to stress about the cost of noodle. Ridiculous. And if you haven't got a business...
Welcome to Blighty Blighted, your daily reminder that Britain hasn't tightened its belt. It's punched new holes in it. Brits have been pushed to the limit with the cost of living. Not the gym limit, the overdraft limit, the emotional limit, the do I really need both kidneys limit. Everything costs more, everything works worse, and patience completely out of stock. They say money doesn't grow on trees. In Britain it doesn't even grow in wallets anymore. Food prices are up so high the beans are now doing better than the customers. Energy bills so steep they should come with climbing gear. Rent so high it needs oxygen. We're not living. We're on financial life support. This is my retirement plan. Diversified crumbs. People used to say, make ends meet. Now it's introduce ends briefly and apologize. And the government keeps telling us there's help available, which is true if you enjoy forms, queues, and being told no in 12 different departments. It's not a safety net. It's a suggestion. Workers are maxed out. Pensioners are rationing heat. Families are juggling bills like flaming torches. Even the middle class is now the middling class. You can't cut back any further. We're down to essentials and even they're charging premium. Call it the cost of living crisis or Britain's biggest price performance.
First of all, why is there a fucking bow in my bed? Like, that is literally the bed, like, that's not in it. Every single wall is stained. I didn't book this, by the way. At least the bath's clean, the shower, whatever. What the fuck, man?
Just a date I could pencil in my diary. I'm not asking for a hard biro date, just a pencil-in date, and possibly before I retire.
Water bills going up, council tax going up, wages aren't. Let's talk real numbers, not headlines. So the average household is already paying £40 to £50, okay, for water already. £150 to £250 on average for council tax. They add the increases on top. It's a small rise, say £20 here, £30 there, but that's £600 a year gone. That's food money, that's your basics gone, that's your school meals, anything else that you're paying extra out for, or if you've got any little bit of extra left each month, it's going to be swallowed up. And if you get a pay rise, because a lot of people are going to get those in March and April, it's often pulled straight back because you have to pay higher tax, higher national insurance, higher deductions. So on paper you earn more, but in real life, you're still worse off. This isn't about being bad with money. If you're feeling the pressure, you're not alone and you're not failing. It's just the system, it's the cost of living that's just keeping us all down. And with more things increasing, people are going to have more worries and more concerns. If you are struggling, please have a look in my bio because there might be some support in there for you.
So today we're going to break it down. I've been going over some statistics from the ONS and from .gov.uk. This means they know, they have these statistics, they have this data, and everything I'm going to tell you today is based on UK averages. Just pay attention, because I really think some people in this country have not got a clue how bad some people have it. The cost of living in the UK has spiraled out of control. We're going to break down and see if people can actually survive on the wages they're paid. So how much does the average person earn? Well, the UK's average national salary is £37,000, 430 a year. After tax and national insurance, that gives you about £2,400 a month to live on. Sounds all right, yeah? Well, let's see where that money actually goes. By ONS and .gov UK statistics, monthly bills for an average household rent or mortgage are £1,341 for renters outside London, way more expensive inside London, and a mortgage at £1,056 for a typical home loan. Council tax, £180, going up. Electricity and gas, £117, going up. Water bills, £44, going up. Groceries, £310, and that's before you even add a bottle of wine. Fuel, £79, probably going up. Clothing, soap, toothpaste, etc., etc., £77. So what?
I've been in England for 2 days, and all I gotta say is, what the fuck? What are these prices? Why is a gift bag £6 from Sainsbury's? Why? Why? Like, it's bad enough that the food is fucking expensive, but a fucking gift bag, that shit is, I'm sure that shit is at the pound store. Probably not for £1, but I'm just still like, fucking £6 for a gift bag. This shit was not like this 2 years ago. And I'm coming from New York, where things are so expensive, but this shit's getting out of hand. How are y'all surviving over here?
Everything costs a fortune to do anything. Eat a meal, buy a can of Coke, it's £1 in a normal little 7-Eleven store. Going to London to 7-Eleven store, it's £1.65. It costs 30p in fucking Thailand in 7-Eleven, 30 pence. If you buy 24, I think it works out about the same. You know, it's just obscene. Where are they getting these prices from? Why is the UK so expensive? Petrol expensive. £20 for a packet of cigarettes. It costs about £3 or £4 in Thailand. I mean, honestly, guys, these third world countries are so much better than this shithole. And I'm British. I should be proud to be British. But I've come back to a land I do not understand, do not recommend anyone stay here and live here. Work here, yeah, by all means, get taxed to death. But don't fucking spend your money here. Move away the first instant you get, the first time you can. England is finished. It's absolutely finished, guys. They're paying you a minimum wage, but charging maximum prices.
Guys, I know prices for things are going up, but I went to the co-op earlier. I was shooketh. Literally. Today was the day I was 100% a cheapskate. I literally went to the co-op for ketchup. I needed to get some ketchup. I'm down the ketchup bit. I went straight for it. I looked down. Co-op ketchup, £1.60. It used to be about 20p cheaper about a week ago, 7 working days, something like that. Heinz ketchup. Not even, may I add, for the big bottle. This is for the little bottle, the littler bottle from the big bottle. £4. £4 British pounds for a small bottle of ketchup, of Heinz ketchup. Like, what the fuck? Surely Heinz and these supermarkets are making enough money to not be charging £4 for a bottle of ketchup. Then I just literally watched Chelsea. She was in, is it Chelsea? I'm sure it's Chelsea. She's with her husband Alex, and she's got her 2 kids. I love her. She's so cool. She just literally picked up a tub of Marmite. £3, mate. £3. I'm sorry, but I thought the cost of living was meant to be getting better, but these prices are not getting better. £4 for ketchup.
Right, I've just had an argument with this woman on Facebook, and she was like, oh, benefit people that have always got their nails done and their eyebrows done and their hair done. Oh, they'd spend the money on such bad things. Listen, I don't think you quite understand just how resourceful people on benefits are. I I've been on and off benefits for several years, and I'll tell you how much, right, my nails, eyebrows and hair have cost me over the years. We'll start with my nails. They look like crap right now because I've just put bog standard nail varnish on its chips. Ugh. Anyway, my mum 7 years ago gave me a gel nail kit, right? I have never added anything extra to this gel nail kit, right? I've been doing my own nails for 7 years for free. Taught myself because I wanted to look nice. And if I don't do them myself, my sister runs a nail salon. So, you know, I get them for free there too. Next thing is hair. That's a video of me cutting my own hair for free. I haven't been to a hairdresser's other than once when my grandma paid for me. I haven't been to a hairdresser's in, 8 years? I've just cut it myself for 8 years. For free. And then when it comes to the hair dye, right, people just give me their hair dye. They think they want bright purple hair or bright pink hair, and then they decide they don't want it because for whatever reason, work or what. Next we'll go on to eyebrows. I actually have a qualification to do eyebrows, believe it or not. Right, I do my lamination brows with a £1 pearl soap bar. I shave my brows with a £2 set off Temu of those eyebrow razors where you get 100 of them, so that's going to last me, 10 years. And then the dye for my eyebrows, the henna dye, cost me £3.29, I remember exactly, off eBay. And I bought that when I was in university 8 years ago. And I've not had to buy a new one since because I only use a right tiny amount, so it's lasted me all this time. I've spent absolutely nothing to look good, virtually, because I taught myself, because I'm resourceful. That's what skimp people do. They become resourceful. They learn for themselves. I think rich people, because they get everything professionally done in the salon, they think that's the only way of doing it when it really isn't. And it really riles me that they think that we're spending all the money on loads of stuff like that, when the reality is we're just doing it for each other, like friends, like trading stuff, or doing it for ourselves.
How do I tell the water company that I'm happy to pay my bill, however I'm going to pay what I've always paid and not the double amount that they're asking for? Bearing in mind, let me give you some context here. You might want to do this on quick speed because it's going to be a long one, but I'm pissed off. Right, I normally pay about 50 quid a month, right? That's fine, no problem. I've lived in this house for years, okay? My usage is the same, nothing's changed, same amount of people live here, blah, blah, blah. So the amount has always been pretty much the same. I get billed every September. No problem. They read the meter, they do the bill, and if it changes a few quid, it changes. No problem. I'm all paid up to date. No problem. Okay. Now tell me why yesterday I get an email saying, oh, we've reassessed your direct debit and we're going to put it up to £112. Basically double. Why? Tell me why, when nothing's changed. Nothing's changed my end. So I messaged them and said, look, I have no problem paying my bill, but I just want to pay what I pay. And they're like, oh, well, we want you to get into credit ready for when the winter comes in and you use more. And I was like, I don't want to get into credit. Thanks. I want the money in my bank and I will pay what I've used. I could always have done for the many, many years that I've been with you. Toing and froing, basically to be told that I have to pay it. And it's tough, and the only way I don't have to pay it is if I go to the pay less people and they look at my circumstances and my earnings. I was like, whoa, I'm not saying I'm not going to pay it. I've got no problem in paying it, but why are we doing a mid-year change? This has never happened before. The thing is, the bastards know they've got you by the shorts and curlies because there's no one else I can use. There's only one water company. So tell me, please tell me, what are you lot doing in this situation? What are my rights? I'm trying to read it up on it. It doesn't really make sense. I just want to pay what I've agreed to pay 6 months ago for the next 6 months. And then in September, when they read the meter and give me the new bill, I'll pay whatever it is again then, like I have done for the last 9 years. What do you guys do? Help a girl out here.
What in the broken Britain cost of living crisis bullshit is this? You ain't going to believe this. Been talking about things like this for a while now. The average cost of a house in the United Kingdom as of today, the 6th of February, is £300,000. Yeah, just read that again. £300,000 is the average price for a house in the UK. Now, you tell me that there's no cost of living crisis. Now, obviously, if you're living at the very, very north of England, they're not going to be that much. But if you're living down in the south, they're way more than that. It's called an average. But this is the first time in history that the UK house price average has been over £300,000. So what chance have first-time buyers got? What chance have our kids got? This is where the real issues are. There is no sign of these house prices coming down. They reckon they're going to be up by about 1.5 to 2% this year. So, when is enough enough? How are people supposed to rent? I mean, the Green Party is going to come in and ban people from renting. So what's that going to do? Maybe it will flood the market with loads of houses. Who knows? But 300 grand, what's that going to be on a mortgage? Woo.
I think we can all agree that the financial world our parents lived in has long gone, okay? And it really grinds my gears when you get people that generation saying to younger people, well, you're just lazy, we got a house, why, you need to get on the property ladder. Yeah, wages haven't kept up with inflation for over 30 years, okay? I'm not saying our parents had it easy, but a property was still 3.5 to 4 times your yearly salary. Now you're looking at 10 to 15 times, especially if you live down south near London. I know the interest rates were higher when my parents bought their place, and also there wasn't a minimum wage until the 1990s, but compared to what they are today, they did have it easier in that sense. Now, it always used to wind me up, when I was in my early 20s, and my stepdad would sit there saying, oh, why don't you buy a house? Every week he'd sit there, why don't you buy a place? Why don't you get on the property tax? Well, I can't afford it. On 12,000 a year as a chef, where I was working at the time, I couldn't have taken on that sort of debt on my own. Even if I was on £30,000 a year, I still would have struggled. And I just get sick of people calling younger people lazy. It's not being lazy, right? The reason a lot of young people, I think, feel entitled and fed up is because they're working for nothing. They're working knowing they can never own their own property. They're going to work every day for crap money, where the wages haven't kept up with inflation. They're trying to survive. A lot of people can't even afford to rent a room in a shared house. It is absolutely disgusting the way this economy has gone, and it's like it in America as well. It's not just, the UK, other parts of the world, it's getting the same. They're literally working people to death, making you a slave so that you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. What's there to be happy about when you can't even afford to buy your own home? And I just think, people need to understand that generation that our parents had and that way of living is gone and it's never going to come back. They need to reduce house prices or increase wages so that at least people, like young people, have a half decent chance of getting on the property ladder. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I would like to hear from you.
My generation, I can only speak for myself here, but I feel it collectively with my friends, for example. We're tired. We're tired of trying and working hard just to survive, not even thrive. And I feel like I've taken a couple of hits now. The most recent one being the job market, which I've made videos on. I found it really tough. I ended up having to take a job. Luckily, that's in my field, but it was 10k less than my previous job. And it was 5 days in the office, no remote work with this role. An hour commute minimum, because if there's traffic, it's more. I'm doing more and getting less in return. And not only that, but I also work on my content as a side hustle because my salary is just not enough to be building a future. Now, luckily, I don't live in a rented property right now, but even then, I'm at home with my mum. Is it my mum's house? Is it the best circumstance again? Is it where I thought I'd be at 30? No, but I can honestly say I'm tired. I'm exhausted of trying to just survive and doing it alone. Independently is also really difficult. And yeah, I didn't really want to make a video to rant. I just want to remind people that we have it hard. We do. The cost of living crisis, the economic climate, the job market, the state of most things doesn't make it easy. And I personally am feeling the pinch financially and the stretch in terms of what I have to do to make things work. And I'm 30 and I'm tired. I can't even envision having children at this point, like any time in the future from 30 to 33, because I cannot afford it. I cannot afford to live for myself. And I just think it's taken such a hit recently when I evaluate things, like in ways I'm grateful, I'm lucky, I have privileges. Just being able to be at home, for example, I pay very minimal rent in comparison to the standard rate of, actually renting from a landlord. But it's exhausting. All of it's exhausting. I don't know what more to say, to be honest. I just have to put it out there that we get marked as this generation that doesn't care, this generation that wants a soft life or snowflakes or whatever, but actually we're really trying, and we feel like we're constantly up against it, swimming against the current, and we just want a moment to breathe.
Wake the fuck up, British people. It's not just the palm oil business, but while we're on the business of the palm oil, Americans buy out Cadbury's, but in America, in their Cadbury's, they've got no palm oil. In Australia, they've got no palm oil in the chocolate. It's just these idiots. The British, we're the scapegoats. We've got a corrupt government that just do as they please, right? And absolutely, there's that many people out there that just, you're like goats. Just like sheep. You just follow and follow because you're scared. Fuck the government. Fuck Cadbury's, right? Stop being idiots. Stand up as people and let's make things better. Other countries can refuse palm oil in the chocolate or whatever in the food, but we're getting it ploughed into ours. Does that not make you wake up? Even the Americans that bought Cadbury's out do not put it in their own chocolate. Come on now. You people that live in dreamland, you need to wake yourselves up. It's the same with this business with all the boats going on. People are like, oh yeah, it's all right. But then we've got our people, our veterans, on the streets dying because of the homeless, but then illegal immigrants, they welcomed into the country. I get a nice plush hotel, meals, gas, electric, no council tax, nothing. Nah, we're having the piss took out of us as British people. Now, if you don't agree with this, you ain't on this page. Big up Team TD.
Buildings get temporary solutions that somehow, well, it becomes permanent. Everything feels like a quick fix designed to basically survive until the next budget or inspection. And when it breaks again, we all act surprised. This isn't about workers on the ground. Most are actually doing what they can with what they're bloody given. It's about a system that prioritises short-term savings over long-term solutions. Fix it cheaply now, worry about it later. Expect later always arrives much, much later, and it costs much more every time. The same potholes get filled again and again, have you noticed? The same faults are logged, closed and reopened over time. The standards quietly drop and everybody just adapts. We stop really expecting things to be done properly. That's the real change. But we've now accepted temporary as normal. And once that mindset settles in, nothing ever truly gets done or improves.
Is there something UK people are scared of that we immigrants are not aware of? Because the awkward silence is deafening. How there is no public outcry, there is no protest over the cost of childcare in this country is disturbing for a country where people generally don't earn that much. I don't know why, for whatever reason, everyone is silent and it seems like it's fine. It's not fine. My first son started nursery when he was 9 months because that's when my wife had to go back to work. And the first month, the bill for nursery was 1,500 plus. The next month was a February, because February had lesser days. I think the price dropped. I can't remember the exact figure now, but I'll put it on top there. Basically paid full amount for January, February, March. It turned 1 in March. So when you turn 1 in this country, you get 15 free hours. Then when you turn 2, you get 30 hours. Those first 3 months were the longest 3 months of this marriage. It was the most, it was toxic in this house. Oh, good. So it turned 1, we started getting 15 hours. Then it turned 2, we started getting 30 hours. And when we started getting 30 free hours from the government, we completely stopped paying. So we started doing 4 days out of 5 days. It was fine. Then we had to move to a new area, found him a new nursery. That's where problem now started again. Now with this new nursery, with that 30 free hours from the government to do 5 days, with that 30 free hours, to do 5 days is additional cost of £1,053. Okay, let him do the 4 days we used to do where we are coming from. It's additional £685. That includes the 30 free hours from government. Remember I said where we came from, we were not paying because the 30 free hours goes 7.5 hours each day for 4 days. So now to do the 4 days we are doing normally is additional 600 and something pounds plus government's 30 free hours. How is this normal? How much are people making in the, or people are on a different pay, this thing that we are not aware of? What's going on?
What in the hell is going on in Sainsbury's? Look at that, a share bag of Rebels, £4. Are they really trying to push us off chocolate? Look at that, a half a bag of Rebels, £4. Are you having a laugh? Saints, truly mad going on. Look at these M&Ms. Look at these M&Ms. Look, they're meant to be to share. Look, they're half a bag there. Half of that's air, half of them are M&Ms. £4. Oh, that's a hit to the gut. Sainsbury's, you're running crazy. Look at that. Even with the discount, even with the Nectar price, £9. They've even taken the joy out of tea and biscuits. £4 for a packet of hobnobs. I remember we can get a packet of knickknacks for 40p. Now a half a bag of knickknacks, again half of air. £2.50 for a bag of knickknacks. They want how much for tomato sauce? £5. Yep, okay then. You know what? I think I'm truly going to give up on the world when smoothies are £4.50. Criminal. Tell me, why is it cheaper for me to fly to Holland than it is to afford this £15.50 Dairy Milk Hollow Egg? £15.50.
As the cost of living crisis rages, which areas are hit the worst? All right, we got some new data out from the Office of National Statistics, and it shows that the cost of living crisis is not evenly distributed across the nation. If we have a look at this map, we can see the haves and the have-nots, and it's broadly a north-south divide. So the red circles are where you have the most deprivation, the blue circles are where you have the least. So the worst place is Blackburn, the best place is Cambridge. Now, there's a similar story being told around wages. If you look at this chart about wages from the past 10 years, we can see that we've got haves and have-nots. People who've got better wages, Cambridge at the top of the list, and then a bunch of people who have actually got less money than they had 10 years ago. Remember guys, this is not about left and right. This is about ordinary people coming together, getting rid of these scamming elites that perpetuate this cost of living crisis across the nation and building our fair future.
You are going to be shocked at the banking shake-ups that are happening in the UK this month. These changes are going to affect mortgages, savings and your local bank branch. Firstly, the Bank of England has been cutting the base interest rate and now it is at 3.75%. Whilst that might mean cheaper mortgage payments for some people, it also means that many banks are lowering the rates on savings accounts. This is going to hit anybody who is holding cash in the bank. Secondly, high street banks are shutting branches left, right and centre. NatWest alone is planning to shut 30 branches in the UK this year. And this month, some of those branches are closing. Thirdly, mortgage rates are moving again. A few big lenders have increased the cost of fixed mortgage deals. That means if you're remortgaging or if you're applying for a new mortgage, the rate is going to be quite a lot different to how it was last month. However, there are currently banks that are offering switching deals. Some up to the value of £250, and I'm going to do a separate video about this. So in February, savings could be shrinking, mortgages could be rising, and you could be losing your local branch. Let me know in the comments section if any of these changes are going to affect you. And if you don't follow me yet, be sure to follow along because I do videos like this all the time.
What is everyone's monthly mortgage payments? I know, a bit forward, but I posted a video on my other channel, which is Ness House Bits, about my monthly expenses in my new build, and no one could believe that I pay £1,498 a month for my mortgage. Well, I say I, me and my boyfriend. All the comments were flabbergasted. They were just like, you're getting ripped off, your house isn't worth that much. In my area, I pay this amount and this amount. You should have saved more deposit. You need to earn more money, get a better paying job and all this kind of stuff. And I just think, do you not realise that so many people are paying that amount these days? Not everyone can afford to save hundreds of thousands of pounds, never be able to move out. Or, you know, don't get lucky with an interest rate. Mine was 4.79% at the time, you know, what we got. And my mortgage is just about 305k and my property value is 339k if anyone's interested. But I'm shocked that people are so shocked by it. I just think it's so much more normal if you're a first time or a second time buyer and you don't have that, you know, a big load of equity behind you to reduce your mortgage size or a massive deposit with how expensive everything is. And properties are expensive. They're not getting cheaper, are they? Or people couldn't believe that I live in the East Midlands, so properties are slightly more expensive than up north. And they're just saying, well, your house where I live is this amount. Like, that's crazy. And I just think the area makes such a difference. Like, properties in London's are millions of pounds. So
We're not just squeezed, we're fully juiced. Black humour aside, when a whole country feels stretched to breaking point, that's not bad luck. That's bad management. Still, mustn't crumble. Can't afford the mess. Cheerio, and I will see you all in the next video.